So we are recording. Okay, I am really excited. I say we as in Brad and myself. But we're super excited tonight because if you were on the call a couple weeks ago with Micah's entire downline, you got to hear from Brad, and hopefully, and I say a couple weeks, but I think it was maybe even a couple months ago. And he gave an incredible training that night, and I actually signed up for his Appreciation Academy because I really was inspired and loved it. And I have loved the Appreciation Academy, and he didn't pay me to say that. This is like me genuinely coming in here, just giving you that little review. It is incredibly affordable for one, but it's also something that you're going to get a ton of value out of. And what my favorite part is you really get to know Brad and you get to know his background, but you also get to apply lots of the things that he teaches you into your own life. So if it's something, and I'm sure maybe at the end, Brad, you can kind of tell them a little bit about that whole thing, but I love it. It's been something that's really helped me shift my mindset, which I personally think 100% or 99% of our business really depends on our mindset. And so if that's something you struggle with, belief or getting your mind right, that's hugely important to your success. And I really encourage you to find some personal development like Brad's training and his Appreciation Academy to fill in those gaps. But I wanted to just kind of turn the time over to Brad. He can kind of tell you a little bit about himself, do his thing, and we'll go from there. But thanks so much, Brad, for joining us. And I was going to tell you guys, if you were on that call, this is a different call. This is a different topic. So you're not going to hear the same thing tonight that you heard a couple of months ago. It's going to be awesome, and we're super excited.
Sweet. Can you guys hear me? Is that coming through? Microphones working and everything? Yep. Awesome. What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for the privilege of being able to speak with you guys tonight. I don't take your time for granted. I know this is something that you don't get this time back, right? This is something you can't get back. So here's my promise for you that over this next hour, I will not betray your trust. This is something where over the next hour, you are going to learn some amazing tools to master your mindset in a different way than we learned a couple months ago, just like Melissa talked about. It's a totally different topic. Today is all about using the pain of your past to create greatness. Before, raise your hand if you were on the call with Micah and the rest of the downline before. Okay, we talked about how to, strategic ways to reverse negative self-talk. We talked about attachment versus commitment. We talked about all of that stuff. And this time it's all about the deeper level of that, what might hold us. This is actually what I'm going to be talking about to Micah's downline in a couple of days, actually. We're speaking for the whole downline again on the 6th, which will be really cool. So just like Melissa said, success is 99% psychology, 1% mechanics. It's just the strategy plays a very significant role. You have to have the great strategies to do it. You have to know what you're doing. And luckily, you have one of the best leaders in the company teaching you that. Look at her right here. She's right here smiling in that pink shirt, ready to teach you guys how to crush this business. But how you go about using those strategies matters. So be fully present over these next 45 minutes, and it will give you so many amazing insights to take your life to the next level. So I want to share a little bit of my story, much deeper than I did on the last call. And the reason for that is to show you how I use the pain that I went through to create greatness in my life. And if you guys can make sure your line is muted, I think I'm getting a little bit of feedback noise on there. If someone is unmuted, if you can make sure that's muted, that'd be awesome. So where did you... There we go. We're good to go. Where did you start out your success journey? What place mentally and emotionally were you in? I started out my success journey very, very angry and very, very sad. And almost like I was compensating for this lack of fulfillment by craving validation. I didn't think it was fair that I was where I was. I had so much blame So much blame. When I was a kid, my childhood was not very fun at home. And I was embarrassed to bring kids over to my house because I never knew how my mom was going to be around them. I was actually ashamed of my family growing up. And I remember a few things specifically triggered that in regards to my mom. Now, I love my mom. I've forgiven her for all the pain in my past. I still have to continue to forgive her because she still does things that break my heart on a regular basis. Type yes if you have a family member that you have a turbulent relationship with in some way, shape, or form. For me, that was my mom. And when I was growing up, I never knew, and I still don't know, which version of my mom I'm going to get. I didn't know if I was going to get the narcissistic, this is what's going on in my life, and this is why my life is so shitty version. I didn't know if I was going to get that. I didn't know if I was going to get the controlling version of you can't open the fridge until I say so, like kitchen's closed after 4 p.m. version, the controlling type. I didn't know if I was going to get the embarrassing type that would smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day around my friends and talk crap about people that had money. I didn't know if I was going to get the scarcity-minded version of, we can't afford that and we're not the type of people that can. And I think most impactfully, I never knew if I was going to get the you're not worthy of my love version. That was probably the most impactful version, and that's the one that still plays out to this day. Every once in a while, I get the, hey, sweetie, how was your day version? But that lasted like 15, 20 minutes. And it changed minute to minute, and it still does. It still changes minute to minute. It's like walking on eggshells. I would change who I was just to appease her pain. And I was changing who I was even though it went against my values. And it sucked. I hated seeing my parents scream and fight about money. I hated seeing them fight every single day, literally every day. So a little background, I didn't talk about this in the last call. After I took out about $40,000 of student loans for college, right, just to get an education, my grandmother had saved about $40,000+ for me to go to school. And very nice, very generous, like very excited about that. It was going to cut my student loan debt in half. When I got to college, I found out that that was stolen from me, completely stolen, taken away, and just gone. So when I came to school, I found out that I was going to go 6 figures into student debt, almost 6 figures into student debt. And I would blame my mom for that. I blamed her for why I was stuck. I blamed her for why I was so upset with my financial situation. And I hated going back to Chicago because it meant that I had to see her. And I hated the holidays. I hated birthdays. I was very angry. And this is the second year in a row that my mom has completely avoided me on Christmas. And I literally remember getting teary-eyed in front of my wife in the car being like, why doesn't my mom love me? And even to this day, it still hurts my feelings. I still have to continuously forgive her. It hurts to see this deterioration of a person. It hurts when love is used as a weapon against you. I hated the pain. I hated my past, and I was angry. That's where I started. And I remember making myself a promise that growing up, I made myself a promise that I would never be like that. I would never waste my life away. I'd create something. I'd create something amazing that provided us an incredible life so I could be the breaking point of my family history. So I set out on a journey to do that, and I epically failed. Epically failed. My first job out of school, I partied and drank 3 or 4 nights a week. And even though I was making good money as a 22-year-old kid, there was just always too much month at the end of the money. How many of you can relate to that feeling at some point in your life? Too much month at the end of the money. I was just skating by. I thought it was the job. I didn't know it was me. And then I found Beachbody. And for those of you guys that don't know, I was a Beachbody coach for 5 years. I built a 5-star diamond business. Absolutely love everything about Beachbody. And the only reason I'm not doing it is because it's a conflict of interest. Like my life's work, what I'm meant to do with my life, it conflicts with the compliance. So I'm not able to do it. That's the only reason why I'm not. But when I found Beachbody, it saved me from a tailspin of going down into the pit of mediocrity that I feared so much. It exposed me to hope. It exposed me to what's possible. It exposed me to people living a life of love and generosity and abundance. And it showed me what was possible. And I got really excited about what I was going to create, but there was just one problem. Every time I hustled at my business, it didn't work. And I would even pretend I had success. How many of you guys tried to prove that your business is legit? You'll post about there like, I don't know why anyone wouldn't do this or something. Like I pretended I had a great business and I'd sneak my way into successful groups of people just because 1 ounce of validation from someone else in my life made me feel like I was actually worth something. I craved acceptance and I didn't realize that external validation will only come after internal validation is present. That's the only way it'll come. And I was willing to change who I was, even if it went against my values, to be around them. But even though I was around those great people, I was stuck. How many of you, type yes, if you feel stuck in your business in some way, shape, or form, or any part of your life, stuck in some way, shape, or form, and you don't know what's going on. Maybe it's your business, maybe it's your marriage, maybe it's your bank account, you don't know. I just felt stuck, and I couldn't figure out what the hell was holding me back. And I remember I would need a team call to get motivated. And I'd be hyped up. How many of you guys have done this? I've been hyped up for a couple of days, and I'd be really excited, and then it would dwindle away. Like the fire was there for a couple of days, and then a week later I go, oh, I guess I'm not motivated anymore, right? And I would even, after a team call, I'd message my coach, my upline, who was super successful. And I was like, I sent out 50 invites today, basically begging them to validate me and tell me I did a great job. And all of those invites showed seen at 5:02 p.m. or a flat out no, right? No one responded, or they just told me no. And when I looked at the list of things that would be required to build a successful business, it overwhelmed me and I'd shut down. It was like I was fighting a ghost. It was impossible. It was like this endless perfection and guilt loop that I went through over and over and over again. You know what I'm talking about? Where you have to do things perfectly, really, really well. And if you don't, you feel bad about it. And then you feel guilty for feeling bad. So you do things perfectly again and it never works. And it's perfection, guilt, perfection, guilt, sadness, anger, depression, anxiety. That's where I was in my life. And I remember at the worst of it, I'd get to a point where I was literally spending like 4 days a week on the couch, just like desperately wanting my business to grow, desperately wanting those Facebook messages to come in, desperately wanting my volume to grow. And I had all the tools I needed to build my business, but I just couldn't get myself to do it. And I didn't know why I couldn't get myself to do it. My laptop was literally like staring at me going, dude, change your life. But I just didn't care, but I cared so much. And even worse, not if this makes sense, I was depressed, but I was pissed off at myself that I was depressed. I was pissed off at myself for being less than I could be. I was pissed off at myself for feeling so stuck. And I was pissed off at myself for pretending things were so great when they weren't. I was pissed off at myself for overdrafting my bank account. I was pissed off that I was face to face with my deepest fear, mediocrity. And if I were to define my past into one word, it would be the word stuck. That's the word that defined my past. I had no idea how to break through. I just expected that things would work out. But even though I'd hit Success Club, nothing happened. And now let's flash forward a couple of years, 5, 6 years. My life is amazing. And I don't say that to impress you. I share that to impress upon you what this can do if you learn how to change what your past means to you, what I'm going to talk to you guys about in a minute. Now life is flooded with abundance and amazing opportunities, amazing people, a thriving business, financial opportunity, and most importantly, I'm genuinely happy every day. Like no bullshit happy, like actually happy. So I say that to share with you that if you have crap you're dealing with, you can break through it. You can get unstuck, and I am a living proof of that. So I'll talk about at the end about my course, Appreciation Academy, that Melissa talked about. A bunch of you guys on here are actually in the course right now. You guys will see nothing but amazing feedback on that. I'll talk about that at the end. That course is how I changed my life. That's how I got unstuck. But first, if that's ever going to mean anything to you, we need a paradigm shift. We need to change the way we think. So start here. Write this down in your notes. I learned this from my main man, Tony Robbins. Biography is not destiny. Biography is not destiny. What does that mean? Let me start by saying something very boldly, very clearly, very directly. Whatever you've gone through, no matter what experiences you've had, no matter what you've gone through that was painful, it does not determine the future of your life. It does not matter if you've been in business for years and you haven't made a dime. It doesn't matter if you had a mom that screamed at you like me. It doesn't matter if you were beaten. It doesn't matter if you were addicted to drugs or alcohol or went to rehab. It doesn't matter if you were a bad kid. It doesn't matter if you went to jail. It doesn't matter if you lost a child or if you've been raped. Obviously, those things play a significant role in your life. My point is simply this. Your past does not dictate your future, but it can provide you with extremely valuable lessons on how to pursue your life. Every person in your life is an example or a warning. Every person in your life is an example or a warning. And we kind of logically know that, right? We know if like we drive into a bad neighborhood, for example, our intuition kicks in and we know like get the hell out of there. We know if these people around us are negative, but I'm curious, how have you used your painful points of your past to limit you? How have you done that? And type yes if this is you. If you've set less ambitious goals this year because of goals you haven't been able to hit in the past, how many of you have toned down your goals because of goals you haven't hit in the past? We're going to break through that tonight. Type yes if you've used your financial situation as a reason as to why you can't break through and live a life of abundance, meaning you are struggling financially so you can't go to Summit. You're struggling financially so you can't invest in that course. You're struggling financially so you can't hire that coach. That's a scarcity mindset. We're going to break through that today too. So you break through this by changing what the past means to you. Your life is made up of literally just two things. Number one, it's made up of events. That's number one, events. And number two, the meaning you give to each event. So for example, if a man opens a door for a woman and she's really, really grateful, really happy, really thankful, why? Is it because he opened the door? Or is it because of what she interpreted him opening the door to mean? It was because of what she interpreted it to mean. Because that same dude had opened the door for a different person or for a different woman, and she can be like, I can get it myself, you pig. I don't need you. Did the event change? No, he still opened the door. It was her interpretation of the event. Does that make sense? So look at the biggest limitation of your life. Is it your mommy issues? Is it your daddy issues? Is it your relationship issues? Is it an epic failure from your past? Is it that you're a workaholic and can't turn work off? What baggage or what disempowering thing are you giving a disempowering meaning to without realizing it? Life will change the second you put intentionality behind the meaning of everything. When you put intentionality behind the meaning of everything, your life changes. Most people just think life happens and that's the way it goes. No, when you can choose a more empowering meaning, that's where your life changes. Because when you do it, you're setting up the game so you can win. I changed what my mommy issues meant to me. I stopped blaming her for why I was so stuck, and I opened my heart again. And when I did that, all of a sudden, I didn't feel like I needed to work as much. And when I slowed down, I actually sped up. I opened my heart again. And here's the thing. A lot of you build up walls. Raise your hand if you've ever built up walls to keep out pain, right? You've built up walls to hide pain from coming back in. You don't want to trust again because you're afraid you're going to get hurt, or you don't want to try that business or go all out again because you're afraid you're not going to get to where you want to go. Here's the thing. When you build up walls to protect you from pain, what you're actually doing is trapping the pain inside of you, and you're keeping out everything good. That's all you're doing by building up walls. When you don't trust anymore, it's you giving up your faith in your own ability, and it keeps you stuck in your life forever. So life and God and the universe, whatever you believe in, will keep breaking your heart until you finally open it again. It'll keep breaking your heart until you finally open it again. And you'll learn that the hard way, or you'll learn that the easy way tonight. It's up to you. So who do you blame, or what do you blame? What events do you blame for why your life is the way it is? Any part of your life. Is it how much you work? Is it how unsuccessful you are? Is it your bank account that you blame? What is it that you blame for why you can't be where you want to be in your life? Go with your gut. When I started this, before I dove into what actually stopped me, that's what my course teaches, but I just had a gut feeling, right? I had a gut feeling it had to do with my mom in some way. Just a gut feeling. So don't overthink it. You probably already know. It's weighing on your heart right now. You might have felt it when I went through my story. You might feel it at another point in this call. You might have used it as an excuse. You don't need a concrete answer. But what do you just kind of feel is holding you back? What memory or what person or what situation? And take a look at that, because we're going to break through it right now. One of the best ways to do it is through something that I call, something that I learned from my mentor, Tony Robbins, conscious blaming. That's what's called conscious blaming. So I'm curious, when you look at the situation or person that you blame so much, think of all the pain it created within you. Think of why you're stuck right now. Think of how you can't break through no matter how hard you try. Think of how it's just weighing on you so bad and you don't know what to do about it. You don't know how to break through. You don't know when the solution is going to come, and you just feel so stuck. Think of how you use that as a way out and all the pain it's caused you. Here's my question. Have you ever stopped to think about what beautiful things that has caused in your life? Have you ever been thankful for that painful situation? Have you ever asked what good came out of it? Because there's something. There's something there that is a blessing. that because you went through it, you're actually better off in life. I just had for example, I'll give you an extreme example. I have a client, a one-on-one client that was raped by multiple family members. Horrible situation. Self-confidence destroyed, absolutely just horrible. And when we went through this process, want to know what she said when I had her intentionally choose a meaning to her pain? She said, it made me extremely strong in a way that I can survive anything. It gives me deep compassion and empathy for women that have been through the same thing. It gives me powerful intuition and awareness about people's intentions. So think about that. Before it was, this dominates my life and I can't do anything about it. And I hope that nothing like that has ever happened to you. If it has, you can still change it. But before it was, this dominated my life and I can't do anything about it. Now it's, okay, I know how to move forward. For example, if a horrible situation in life, let's just stay on that topic of sexual abuse for a second. And let's say, for example, there's two people, both horrific situations. Person A takes it to mean that they can never trust men again and that they're not worth anything and that they're stuck in life the rest of their life. That's person A. Person B, similar situation, they take it to mean, you know what? I'm going to start a shelter for women that have been through the same thing so they never have to experience the pain I went through and they can break through it faster. Similar situation, completely different meaning, completely different life. You do not control what happened. You cannot go back and change it, but you do control what it means to you. Here, if it's your childhood or your adult life, wherever you've been through pain, something you need to understand is that it's never too late to have an amazing childhood. It's never too late to have an amazing childhood, because I used to blame my mom for every reason why I was so stuck in my life. But when it went from it's because of my mom that I'm here to why is my mom the best thing that ever happened to me, the game changed forever. So let's take a look at the story I shared about my life and how I flipped the meaning and intentionally chose a more empowering meaning so you can get some context and some examples here. So for example, if my mom didn't steal almost $50,000 from me, I would have never been hungry for freedom. No way. There's no way I would have found entrepreneurship. If my parents didn't scream and yell and eventually get divorced and fight every single day, there is no way in hell that I would be nearly as loving of a husband as I am to her. No way. If love wasn't used against me as a weapon my entire life, as a threat my entire life, I would not have nearly as much empathy as I have now. There's no way I'd be able to see what someone tells me and break through the bullshit in seconds and know what's actually going on. There's no way. Appreciation Academy wouldn't exist if love wasn't used as a weapon against me my whole life. If my business in Beachbody didn't fail for years, there's no way I would have learned what I needed to learn to create freedom in my life. There's no way. So take an analysis. What did your past actually create that's amazing? You can focus on why it sucked, or you can focus on why it's great, because what's wrong is always available to you, but so is what's right. So is what's right. You get to choose. My mommy issues were the best thing that ever happened to me because they created me. I would not be the man that I am so proud to be today if it wasn't for that. So what if the worst days of your life were secretly the best days of your life in disguise? What if your trauma has a gift inside of it to lead you to emotional freedom? What if you adopt a belief tonight that life is always happening for you and not to you? What if you stop making the situations you went through wrong and you start making the situations you went through right? We do this with many failures in our business. We say, I should be at a different weight. I should be at a different rank. And we make it wrong to be where we are. We make it wrong to experience what we went through or what we've experienced. But it's never wrong. It's teaching you a lesson. And until you listen to the lesson, the challenges are going to get louder and louder and louder. So much louder to the point where you experience deep emotional pain. When you say, I should not be here, you push away the gift of the lesson that's going to give you freedom. Did that situation in your life hurt? Yes, absolutely. Is it painful? Probably still. But it was never wrong. It was never wrong. It was exactly what needed to happen to create you. So if you are going to blame someone for why you're stuck in life, you better blame them for the good shit that came out of it too. You better blame them for the good stuff too, because they were exactly who they needed to be. They played the role they were meant to play. My life changed when I decided that my mom was the best thing that ever happened to me. Her behaviors molded me, they sculpted me, they shaped me into who I am. I wouldn't be who I am without her pain. So what if the person you blame played the exact role that they needed to play? What if it was never wrong in your creator's eyes? The same is definitely true in your life. They molded you, they sculpted you, they shaped you into who you are right now. You wouldn't be the woman you're proud to be without that pain. And who you are today has the ability to use that pain to impact the world. Can you imagine how you would share to your audience differently with that type of empathy and awareness? Like, can you imagine how much trust they'd have with you if they can understand and feel that you went through something similar? If you share what actually is your challenge in life, not the BS challenges of I'm 5 pounds heavier than I want to be, the real shit. If you can actually share that with your audience and share what you're doing to overcome it, or what you did to overcome it, whether you already broke through it or you're still going through it, imagine the trust they'd have. Imagine they can actually feel you. There's a reason that people avoid network marketers. It's because they feel the BS. They can tell it's bullshit. But when they can feel that you're actually being real, they want to be part of your life. Can you imagine how your entire business would change if you actually shared what you went through and how you're breaking through it? Can you imagine the community of hope that you'd build from changing what the past means to you? How would every invite change? How would your marriage change? Everything would change. You don't control what happens to you, but you do control how you respond to it. Every part of your past, whether it happened earlier today or 20 years ago, it is a message, a lesson, a gift that you can grow from. If you view your past that way, you can use it to change your future instead of being stuck there. Life is going to continue to teach you lessons that you need to learn to live the life you're meant to live until you listen. It's not one day I'll figure it out. It's take responsibility for it now. Stop making where you are right now considered wrong. It is not wrong. It's exactly where you need to be. So write this down. Seeing your current good is the fastest way to increase more good. And most people think that means just focusing on the roof over their head or the Shakeology that's on top of their fridge. Most people count those blessings and count them as gratitudes, but have you ever seen the good in your pain? If you can see the good in your pain, all of a sudden, you break through everything. Everything. You find the blessing instead of the fault. If you change the meaning, you change your stars. Everything changes. You are responsible for your future. And something you'll quickly learn by working with me, and all these people that are in Appreciation Academy right now that are in this group right here, they'll tell you this. This is what I teach. Happiness is trainable. Happiness is trainable. It is not a byproduct of life events. It's something you live. It's what you condition into who you are. Happiness is trainable, but so is sadness. So is depression. So is perfection. So is anxiety. Now, I'm not saying there are not predispositions that make that harder for some people than others. Absolutely not arguing that. Biochemical differences, absolutely a thing. What I'm saying is we use it as a crutch. We say, I'm depressed. I struggle with depression, so I can't. I struggle with anxiety, so I can't. And we use it as a reason to not break through and take control of our emotions and our responsibility for our life. Again, not saying that some people aren't challenged more than others. I'm saying that even if you are challenged, a lot of times we use it as a crutch. How many people do you know that take antidepressants but are still depressed? Does that make sense? Does it make any sense? It's because it cures the symptoms, but not what's actually going on, right? So how have you used these emotions as a way out? How have you used sadness, depression, anxiety, frustration, whatever your favorite flavor of suffering is? How have you used that as a way out from who you're really meant to be? And believe it or not, and these guys can attest to this, I'll teach you in my course how to actually choose your emotions at any point in time. How to actually choose your emotions. It's really cool. It's beautiful when you learn how to condition that into who you are. It teaches you how to forgive when you don't want to. It teaches you how to instill this into who you are, but you need to understand the overall concept here, and that is happiness is trainable. It starts by adopting a new meaning to your pain. The next year does not need to be the same as the last year. Biography is not destiny. It is time to smile about your past and take responsibility for your future. When you're one of the very few in this world that does, most people don't do this. 99% of people in the world do not do this, and that's why they're stuck. When you're one of the very few that does it, you're going to find abundance. What is abundance, by the way? You hear that get thrown around in my industry all the time. What's abundance? Abundance literally just means that you love every part of your life, including your past, and you're so excited about what you're going to create. That's abundance. Scarcity. What's scarcity? Scarcity is, this should not happen to me, and I'm afraid that I'm never going to create more. It's afraid that you're not enough and there's never enough out there. This is why if money is tight and you think you can't get to the next level, that's a scarcity mindset. It's you thinking there's not enough out there. I'm going to give you a hint. There's enough for everyone. For everyone. When you're one of the few that adopts this belief, you'll find emotional freedom. You'll find genuine happiness. It's right there, right now. You don't need to look for it elsewhere. It's within you. It's in your memories. It's how you live. So let's do a metaphor to show you what I mean. Think about this for a second. When it's storming outside, it seems really gloomy, doesn't it? And the same is true with our emotions. Sometimes we feel that there's these storm clouds all around us, and it's all we focus on. Have you ever noticed that when the storm of life happens, even if you were at the beach of life yesterday, having a great time in the sun, when that storm comes, we almost like forget that it was sunny yesterday. It's all we focus on. We dwell on it. We obsess over the pain of life. And we forget what it's like to have a sunny sky. We obsess over the storm. We forget the sun. But think about any time you've ever been in an airplane and you're on that runway, it's raining, it's pounding, storming, and there's lightning. You're on that runway, and the plane can still take off. And it takes off, and it elevates above the clouds. What happens every time the plane elevates above the clouds? Every time. What happens? It is always sunny. Always. So what if, even though this storm of life is happening for you, you choose to take off? You choose, even though it's stormy, you decide to elevate your life above those clouds. What if instead of being pounded by the storm of life, you lift off above that storm? You don't let one negative memory keep you on that runway, because once you change the meaning, you get above the clouds. When you're so caught up in the stress of whatever storm of life is giving you, obsessing over it, saying it's so hard because it's storming and you're just wishing it would be different and sunny again, it's really easy to forget that what you're looking for is literally right here, right now. It's right above you. You just need to change the meaning, take off and elevate your life above the clouds. We look for happiness externally, but happiness is something within you right now. It's in your memories. It's in how you live. It's in how you respond to situations. If you elevate your life above those clouds, happiness is everywhere. You don't need to find it elsewhere. It's within you now. So it's time to raise the standard of your life. It's time to take responsibility for your life and your happiness. So as we do this, let's apply this to your business. Ask yourself this as you start to think about how you want to take your business to the next level, especially this year, all year. Are you setting goals from a place of fear, from a place of lack, or maybe a place of worry? Are you setting goals based on the you that you currently are and what you haven't achieved? Or are you setting goals based on the you that you want to become and haven't achieved yet? Who are you setting goals from? Which perspective? It's time to stop using past experiences to dictate what goals to set. It's time to stop looking at past failures for why you can't do something. So many of you make the critical mistake, and ask yourself if this is you. You make the critical mistake of looking for why you're so stuck instead of looking for what you want. You go, what's wrong with me? Why am I stuck? Why can't I do this? Why is my business not growing? You look for the reason just to figure out what's wrong with you so you finally have a way of explaining it instead of looking for the direction you want to take your life. I'm going to let you off the hook right now and just tell you whatever you've been through, whoever you are on this call, write this down in your notes. You are not broken and nobody needs to fix you. There's nothing wrong with you at all. It's just time to elevate your life above those clouds. It's time to raise the standard of who you are and what you demand for yourself. If you have weak-ass goals that are set out of what you think is realistic, you're never going to have the life that you want. A lot of you have these high expectations of your business, right? You want the Lexus to show up in your driveway. You have those expectations at a 100 out of 10. You want the fancy car. You want the freedom. But you're operating your goals in your business from a state of fear and panic at a negative 10 out of 100. The only way you're ever going to achieve those big dreams is to set your goals and your actions based on what you actually want. Stop setting goals based on past failures and start setting goals based on your dreams. Let me ask you this. Is the goal of hitting diamond by the end of 2019, is that a goal set out of really big dreams or a goal based out of fear? What do you think? Diamond by the end of 2019, really big, massive dreams, or a goal set out of fear? What do you think? Fear. You already know. What sounds more exciting? I'd really like to hit diamond by the end of the year. Or we're a 2019 elite team earning enough money to take my team on a luxury retreat and pamper them and give them these photo shoots and pay all my bills, pay off student loan debt, and still have plenty left over to take my husband and kids on a vacation. What's actually more exciting? What do you really think would pump you up more? Just hitting diamond or going all out? Think about that. And by the way, if you go all out on your goals and you come up short, which by the way sometimes happens, you're still exponentially further along than from setting a goal, a safe goal that you know you can hit. So don't set goals based on your present circumstances. Quit being realistic and playing it safe. How would your kids set goals? If you had these kids and you ask them, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a fireman. I want to be the president of the United States. Would you tell that kid to go shove it, or would you tell that kid that they can be whatever they want? What would you tell them? Seriously, don't set goals based on your present circumstances. Base your goals off of who you want to become. Write this down in your notes. Realism is the fastest traveled road to mediocrity. Realism is the fastest traveled road to mediocrity. Not necessarily failure, mediocrity, which in my opinion feels worse than failure sometimes. So why is this? Let's do a little study. So you have person A, Mr. Mediocre, Mr. Realist. Let's do Mr. Realist. That's person A. Person B is Mr. Optimist. That's the person that really wants. And we'll do Miss because these are all ladies on the call here. So we'll do Miss Realist and Miss Optimist. And there's this idea of going after, let's say, 5-star Diamond Elite in your first year, and you're signing up in February. The realist is going to go, this is super important. Pay attention to this. The realist is going to go, there's no way that can happen in my first year. And so they're not going to go for it. They're going to play it safe. They're going to say, you know what? No, I'd rather set a safe goal and go to diamond instead. I know I can get there. That's the realist, right? The coach or the Miss Optimist, they're going to go, you know what? I'm going to go for it. So in February, they go for it. And they don't get anywhere near where they want to. And they fail. The realist was right. What weren't they? The realist was right the first time. The realist was right because they screwed up along the way. And so the realist was proven true. But the optimist gets back up and figures out another way. And so in March, they try again. Maybe they make a little more progress, but they still don't get there. The realist is still right. The realist was still right for going after just that safe goal. So that optimist goes, you know what, I'm going to figure this out. So in the month of April, they push even harder and they start to gain traction. May, they start to gain traction. June, all the way to the end of the year. And they finish the year as a 5-star Diamond Elite coach. So the realist was right in the beginning. They were right that they're going to fail. But the optimist, the difference is the optimist found a way. So the realist, they set that mediocre goal and they hit it. The optimists failed multiple times until they figured out a way. Realism is the fastest traveled road to mediocrity. So raise your standards. Demand more from yourself than anyone else ever could. If you set a goal based out of fear, what do you look for? Do you look for why you can, or do you look for why it's hard? You look for why it's hard. Whatever you focus on, you'll find. Raise your hand if you were on the call that I did for Micah a couple weeks or a couple months back. You guys on that call? Okay, so you guys know the whatever you look for, you find example, right? With the red and blue, right? You guys know that. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about here, go back and listen to that call. It's extremely impactful and will benefit your life tremendously. But if you set a goal based in fear, based out of what's safe, you're looking for red. You're looking for why you can't. When you set a goal based out of your big dreams, you're looking for blue. And just like you guys learned, whatever you look for, you find. You have to believe that you are enough before the evidence of your life says that you're enough, before the evidence of your business says that you're enough. You have to believe that you can achieve those big goals before you're ever going to achieve those big goals. And that's what I teach in Appreciation Academy. We'll talk about that at the end. But my point is simply this. If you set a goal based off of blame or scarcity or fear or realism, you're looking for red. You're looking for a productive way to stay stuck. Earl Nightingale said, and I quote, "The mind moves in the direction of our currently dominant thoughts." So stop looking for why you're stuck and start focusing on what you want. Like I said, you're not broken and no one needs to fix you. It is time to take 100% responsibility for your life. It is time to take your control back. This is your life, not the people from your past. It is yours. Own it. The type of thing that would have destroyed you before does not have to destroy you anymore. The rest of the world is not going to sit around and wait for you to get your life together. It's not going to happen. But you can decide right now to take 100% responsibility for your life. For so many people, everything is someone else's fault. It can be explained away with some great reason why we can't make changes to our situation, right? I can't afford that is a great example. Or I'm not pretty enough is a great example. Whatever it is. Or I don't have enough followers, or I'm too old, or I'm too young. All of those things are great examples. Not you, not anymore, not today, not tonight, not go forward. You're going to use the pain of your past to create greatness. You're going to elevate above those clouds. How could you find the good in your situation? How could your past be a great thing? How could you use it to inspire others? How would you share differently? How would you invite differently? You'd become a beacon of hope for those that can relate to your pain. That's what I did with my life. I became a beacon of hope for those that feel stuck. I used my past pain to help people break through. You have pain that you can use to help other people too. So I want to take you guys through an exercise. And if you were on the call with Micah, this is a little bit different, okay? It's a little bit different, so it's not the same thing. We still use gratitude here, but it's a little bit different. So for this, get somewhere where you can allow yourself to feel the full spectrum of human emotion, where you can feel any sort of tears, any sort of pain, all of it. Let it all flow. Get somewhere in your house where you can allow yourself to do that. If you're on your phone, put the phone away. If you're in the kitchen with your spouse and your kids, get in a different room. Do this for you. I promise you it's worth it, okay? And if you know that from being on video with other people is going to make you play less all out, turn your video off. Turn your video off. Be fully present here. There's no shame if you turn your video off. I do it every time I go through an exercise like this, okay? So a lot of people, and you don't need to understand how this works. I'll teach you how it works in Appreciation Academy, but you don't need to know that right now. What you need to know is you're going to go through an experience. Sometimes we get caught up in our head and we don't know how to break free of the pain that's holding us back. We overthink things and we don't know what to let go of. We don't know what to change the meaning of or what the empowering meaning is to our pain. So get somewhere where you can feel those emotions and think of that painful situation in your life right now, that thing that you blame, that reason why you're stuck, that reason why you can't break through, that person that just totally effed you up, that person that just left this big negative imprint on your life, that situation you went through, whatever that is for you. Think of that situation right now and think of everything it led to. Think of how you're so stuck because of it. Okay, think of that and close your eyes. Close your eyes, shake your body out, sit up nice and tall, and take your hands and physically put them on your heart for a second. and breathe deep into your heart. Like actually imagine the air flowing in your nose, big deep breath in, through your heart and back out your mouth. Again, big deep breath in, through your heart and back out your mouth. And notice how your breath has already calmed your mind. And breathe into your heart and feel the strength of it for a second. Feel it beating in your chest right now. Feel the power of it. Feel the beauty of it. Think of all it's led to in your life and why your life is such a beautiful gift. Your heart beats, by the way, 100,000 times a day without you having to do anything for it. As long as this beats, you live. It's a gift. Didn't have to buy it. Didn't have to earn it. Something thought enough of you to give you this amazing gift of life the moment you were born. You have inherent worth because this heart is beating in your chest right now. So take a moment and feel so deeply grateful that you even have this life, that you have the ability to feel these emotions, and take that all in. And now go back to a memory in your life. What's a moment in your life that you can feel unbelievably deep feelings of gratitude for? What's that moment for you? Is it when you said I do? Is it when you had your first baby? What's that moment for you? And instead of seeing that from the outside, step back into that moment like you're there. Relive that moment. See it all over again. Feel it right in front of you like it's happening, breathing the same way you did then, experiencing it all over again, first person, right in front of you, and just feel so grateful. Just love that moment. Just treasure it. And now go to a second memory. What's a second memory in your life that you can feel unbelievably deep feelings of gratitude for? What's that moment for you? Step back into that like you're there. Relive it. See what you saw then, hear what you heard then, feel what you felt then, now like it's happening. Feeling so grateful, so appreciative, so alive, so happy that you got to experience that amazing gift of a moment in your life. And now, think of a coincidence. What's something in your life that you didn't expect to happen, but it was placed in front of you? You were in line at Starbucks and you met the love of your life. You didn't mean to get pregnant. Now you have an amazing family. What's that moment for you where you can step back into it and see all that it led to and how beautiful it was? Was that a coincidence, or were you being guided the entire time? So breathe deep into your heart and feel where that coincidence led you to. Why is your life amazing right now? Because of that thing that you didn't make happen. Something happened for you. It's really beautiful when we realize that life is always happening for us and not to us. Even the problems, they're gifts because we can grow from them. They lead to greater growth, greater aliveness, a more elevated version above those clouds of ourselves. So feel so grateful for that coincidence. And now stack it all on top of each other for a second. Just like the movies, like a flash in front of you. See that first memory flash before your eyes for a second and breathe deep. Feel that second memory flash in front of your eyes. Breathe deep again. Feel that coincidence flash in front of you. Feel your heart beating 100,000 times a day. And just appreciate it. And just love it. And now try to triple the amount of intensity of emotional, deep gratitude that you feel for this amazing gift of life. And let it radiate out of you for a second. Feel the energy expanding from your heart, out all parts of your body, out up through your head, out your arms, down through your legs, calves, feet, even into the ground, all directions, circulating all around you. Feeling so grateful, spreading that energy, spreading that love, and just treasuring it and feeling it and cherishing it and loving this amazing gift of life. This is the real you. This is the you that's not dominated by fear. This is the you that can break through anything. So feel that in your heart right now and just say thank you. Just appreciate it. Just love it. Just cherish it. And now from this beautiful state, from your heart, not your head, from your heart, go back to that situation that you blame. That thing that you haven't let go of, that thing that you forgot about up until now, that thing that just caused so much stress in your life. And from this beautiful state, from your heart, breathing deep, from your heart, not your head, go back to that moment and say, this situation that I blame is such a beautiful blessing in my life because it led to blank. This situation I blame is such a blessing in my life because it created blank. This situation in my life that I went through is such a beautiful gift because blank. Your heart knows why the pain of your past is a beautiful thing, doesn't it? It knows. You guys can open your eyes. You can come back on screen. How many of you found some sort of direction as to why the pain from your past actually is a gift? Actually is a really amazing gift in the last couple of minutes. And if you didn't and you still want to suffer in that, there's other strategies, there's other ways. I'll teach you. And if you need to go back through this when no one else is around, and try it again. But my point is simply this. It's pretty powerful because your heart knows the answer. Your heart knows the empowering meaning. A lot of you are saying, I'll be happy when I get to the next level in my business. That's not true. Some of you are saying that you'd be happy if it wasn't for that situation you went through. That's not true either, is it? Happiness is trainable. Happiness is within you right now. And success won't happen. This is so important. Success won't happen until you learn how to be happy. It won't. You're going to push and push and push. But it's never going to happen until you learn how to be happy. Most people think it's the other way around. Most people think that if they could just change something from their past or what they went through, they'd be happy. Or if they get to the next goal, they'd be happy. No, you won't. Business and success will not create happiness unless you're already happy. Happiness creates success, and happiness is trainable. You took the first step in that today, but can you imagine how the world would change if you learned how to make this part of who you are? If you learned how to be genuinely happy, how to change what your past means to you, how to forgive when you don't want to, how fast could you get unstuck? It'd be like that. Faster than you can ever imagine. It's like flipping a switch. It is absolutely incredible. It will change your entire world. Because guys, you don't have time to go and listen to this team call every single day for the rest of your life, do you? And we don't want this to be a situation where we find ourselves being motivated for a couple days. So if you feel like this is something where you want to be coached into how to feel this way, I'd love to take just a couple minutes and share a little bit about the program that Melissa and I are a part of right now, Appreciation Academy. I'll share just for 2 minutes real quick, and if it's not for you, that's okay. And either way, it's been a privilege to serve you. So before we hop off here, we prepared an incredible opportunity for you guys to learn how to make this part of who you are. If you have been pushing so hard for a goal, and it seems like it's getting further and further away, and you keep hearing just hit Success Club, but it's not happening, or you have all these trainings showing you how to do Instagram stories and inviting or branding, and you still aren't finding success, and you don't know what's stopping you from having success, or more importantly, happiness. I've created a course that will break you through all of it, and I mean all of it. And you guys that are part of it right now, comment in the chat box what that program is doing for your life. Guys, you won't find one bad review about it. There are over 57 of Micah's downline coaches in this program right now. Incredible. The reason you feel stuck is because you have inner conflict. That's it. Negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, lack of worth, all of those things are keeping you stuck in the same spot. You've heard the cliche, change your thinking, change your life. Appreciation Academy teaches you how. This talked about what you need to do. Appreciation Academy will teach you how to pinpoint those traumas, Rebecca. It will teach you how to get to the point where you attract success instead of repel it. And because your leader is absolutely amazing, we have arranged a massive discount on this. And normally I start this at 30% off, but for you guys, I'm just gonna honor the same discount we got to with Micah. So it's gonna be 50% off for everyone here for payment plans and full pay option as well. So even if things are tight right now, there's still a way to make it work. Still a way to make it work. And by the way, whether it's through me or through another personal growth expert that you trust more, whatever it is, if things are tight and you can't afford something in personal growth and development, that's exactly why you need to invest in your personal growth and development. Because the same way of thinking is going to keep you there. right? You need to learn how to think differently. So whether that's through me or through someone else, invest in your growth. Regardless, Jen Richardson says, and I quote, you guys know who that is, by the way, Jen Richardson, 15-star Diamond Coach, Million Club member. This is the missing link that every Beachbody coach needs to finally see success in their business. Shay Stanford, you guys know who that is? 15-star Diamond Coach, Shakeology lady, Million Club member. She says, and I quote, this is personal growth on steroids. Every Beachbody coach needs this. Every person needs this. And I can go on and on with testimonials. There are dozens and dozens of them. My point is simply this. It'll rip away the layers of pain, preventing you from being the person that deep down you're meant to be. It's not a business training. Those trainings don't work until you learn how to master this. This gets to the core of everything stopping you, how to silence the inner demons and how to actually live every day with a smile, like a real one that you don't have to BS. And it's not something, by the way, where you enroll and I peace out. I'm there for you literally every step of the way, invested in your growth every step of the way. Just like we talked about, business and success will not bring you happiness unless you're already happy. Happiness creates success, and this is the only course that I've ever seen that teaches you actually how to be happy. It's how I went from stuck to where I am today. It is 6-7 years of growth packed together, so you don't need to wait that long. So if you felt something real, if you've been on both talks right now and you just feel like there's a vibe here and there's something about this that is just magical and you just feel something, invest in the program, guys. I will not betray your trust. It is worth every penny and then some. And in this course, I'll show you how I got unstuck. That's a promise. So what you guys are going to do, if this is something you want to do, head to bradbizjack.com/team call, and you'll be able to get instant access. Now, when you get there, and there's an opt-in thing and all that, when you get there and you get to the checkout, there's an automatic 30% coupon applied. All you got to do is exit that out and type in the word Fit Crew, one word, Fit Crew, and replace that as the coupon code, and we'll take the discount from 30 to 50%, just so you guys know. And Melissa's going to post all this information in your team page after the call. But again, that's bradbizjack.com/team call. Thank you so much for the privilege of serving you guys tonight. Thank you for being here. It's been a privilege and an honor. And Melissa, I will turn it back over to you.
Brad, thank you so much. And I just have to say, you guys, I know you hear probably all the time, people will say, you know, turn your mess into your message. And a lot of times you're like, well, what is my mess? Like, what is my message? What am I really trying to share with my followers, and how am I, trying to help them? And what do I really care about? What are the things that really shape who I am? And I feel like this training really opens up your eyes to everything that you believe in, everything that encompasses who you are. And it helps you build belief in who you are. So I fully, I just love it so much. And I have been using it as kind of my miracle morning personal development. And it's just the best way. I don't know if you guys were at Summit last year, I think it was, when the happiness guy, I don't even remember his name, but the Happiness Advantage, I actually have his book right here, Sean Acor. He kind of has a similar idea as Brad. Like, you really just have to, happiness comes from appreciating all the things that have happened to you in your life and really using that to your advantage and knowing that life happens for you, not to you. Everything Brad said tonight, I love it. So thank you so much for jumping on with us. I will share all of the info that you guys need to get signed up, because honestly, you can't get a better training. You can't get a better personal development, everything. I don't even know how to explain it. I feel like it's like a life. Everyone needs it. That was perfect what Jen said. Literally every person needs this in your life, because it just helps you unlock so much greatness within you. But I'll share all of the details in the team page so you have everything that you need to get signed up, to get the discount and everything like that. So thank you so much, Brad. And you guys, thanks so much for jumping on. I'll share the recording as well if you wanted to share with any of your team who weren't able to get on tonight. And just thank you so much, Brad. And I'm sure you'll be seeing lots of us in your Facebook group and in your training and all that. So, okay, have a great night, you guys. I will for sure, Rebecca. Okay, see you guys.